Kentucky back in 49.
Hello, everyone. Procedure. Oh, shit. I've been sitting out on the road bucket. So this is what I'm doing. I'm such out here. Output low. Sending stream data to bucket. Reading on the road. I can only assume that means that, what does that mean? Video output low. Getting back on the road here. I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere. Oh, excuse me. I'd turn the camera around so you can see pleasant places you could get stuck in the middle of. Mountain to my right. I'm back to the highway. I'm only like quarter mile highway.
Quarter mile. Turn left onto the I-40 East ramp to Nashville.
There you go. I-40 East? No, I'm going I-40 West. Might have said, I don't know. So, we're streaming, stop stream and try again. Oh, fucker. Come on. Stream has resumed. If it keeps going, that's liable to happen. Let's see here. Let's get back on the highway myself. Since I pulled off. So 54 miles, Peabody, blah, blah, blah. So I'm on my way to Memphis, just south of, oh shit, there's a fucking rest area right there. Of course there is. Here. I've kind of me a little bit. I was about 15 minutes wearing. Turn that down. What am I talking about? Well, I suppose like bigger. I mean, it's still a big event. I had planned about months ago to New Orleans, Louisiana, and spend 2 nights, and then I was going to go to San Antonio, Texas, and spend a night, and then I was going to go to Tucson, Arizona, spend a night, and then finally I was going to go to Las Vegas and spend 2 nights in Vegas, and then fly home. I had everything planned, everything was booked, but unfortunately, what ended up happening was, well, I mean, we know what happened. We know what happened in Vegas. And that, you know, obviously gave me pause. Not because I'm, you know, stigma is probably not the right word, but you kind of get an idea of what I mean. And, a little bit of burning love. Oh, thank you very much. Heading to Memphis right now. Birthplace of the king, baby. So, you know, I was supposed to stay at Mandalay Bay. I think that was what really threw me through the loop. That was where I was supposed to stay. So, I changed my reservations to Paris, Las Vegas on Monday of last week, and it just never, none of it felt right. It just didn't feel right. And then, you know, the day before I'm supposed to leave, Friday, there's a hurricane that comes through. It, you know, is supposed to hit. Saturday evening is when it's supposed to be rolling in. You're rolling through Mobile and Biloxi, Mississippi, right at the same time that I was going to be getting to that part of the country. And there's just no way I could have done it. And you know, with everything that was going to happen with that, and it was uncertain where exactly it was going to hit, but New Orleans, Biloxi, and Mobile were on, you know, hurricane warning, storm surge warnings, all of that sort of stuff. And, oh, man, that's gross. I'm really sorry. I had like a sneezing fit right before, right before I started my stream. And it's just, bleh, so I apologize. So, here we are, on our way, and, you know, I had to change a lot of stuff. I mean, I was up till like 5 a.m. Saturday morning changing things about this trip. Canceled my hotel, canceled my flights. Yeah, canceled my flight, canceled all my hotels, rebooked everything, all at the last minute. And thankfully, it's worked out really well, like really, really well. Excuse me. Give me 1 second here. Cop coming up. I don't know if you caught that or not, but cop coming up on the shoulder. This is a part of the... I will be telling everybody about this here in just a moment. But Jesus fucking Christ. I'm trying to figure out how to share this so that I can get people in Discord to come and watch. I may have a moment to do that here shortly. What we got going on here? Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Hopefully this doesn't knock my stream out. I don't even know if you can see what's going on my phone. And if you can, that's great. Looks like there's a big wreck or something up here. So, it may have actually been fortuitous for me to have pulled off the side of the road there for a little bit. Oh, crap. Can I share this out to anybody? I'm trying to do exactly that. Let's see here. Let's see what I can do. Oh. In my Discord. Fuck it. Nobody. Well, don't I feel fucking special? Let's see what's going on with the traffic real quick, because I'm stopped again. I'm going to talk about that here in a few minutes, but it won't be too long. Come on, come on. Yeah, it's just gonna be a little while. That's fine. I'm gonna get into town in Memphis and I'm gonna go have fucking bomb ass food. It's gonna be the shit. Closing some apps real quick. Try to free up a little bit of this. Alright. That'll help things along a little ways. Going back to Discord to tell you people to come watch my show. I think we can turn that one down a little bit. Successfully live. Oh man, it's just, that was a delay caused by people just rubbernecking. Fun stuff. Alright. Going back here. Fun. Bring my ass back here to the bottom left again. And you guys are going up here. There we go. Everybody can see me. Stream is doing well. Alright. Sit rep. Let's see if I can move this over just a teensy bit. I really can't, so it doesn't really fucking matter. Alright, sit rep. Heading just south of Nashville on my way to Memphis. I should be arriving in Memphis around 8 o'clock this evening. Here comes a guy in a Porsche. You have brought the wrong car for this weather, my friend. So, one of my favorite things to do is sit around and listen to music. I love music like this. Like, give me some, like, 50s and 60s era, like, bubblegum pop, or, like, 40s, 50s era bubblegum pop. I fucking love that shit. I'm such a sucker for it. Oh. Sorry, I had Crystal for lunch, and it was delicious, and I ate a lot of it. Speaking of. So, going to Memphis, going to be staying at the world-famous Peabody Hotel. I cannot begin to tell you how fucking excited I am about that. But let's back up the train just a little bit and talk about this trip. I was supposed to go to Las Vegas, which, you know, I don't really have a whole lot to say about that. But, I was supposed to go to Las Vegas and do that. Anyway. Sorry, I gotta turn this up a little bit. Let's run around 2. It's a great song. There's nobody fucking watching anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I was supposed to go to Las Vegas, but then, of course, you know, what happened in the shooting in Las Vegas happened. And that really just gave me a bad vibe about the whole thing. Like, I wasn't worried about my safety or anything like that. It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. Not like it had, you know, 24 hours previous to that. And I tried to let it go throughout the week, and it just wouldn't go away. But I was going to do it anyway, right up until they confirmed that Hurricane Nate would be making landfall in Biloxi. And I'm driving through it right now, actually. But they, you know, right when they said that it would be making landfall about 7 p.m. Eastern, and it'd be making landfall 7 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, I was like, well, fuck me. That's about the time that I wasn't going to be in New Orleans by then. I wasn't going to be in New Orleans until about probably around 10 or 10:30. So I would have been in the Biloxi, Mobile area around the same time that the hurricane would have been making landfall. So that kind of that's really distracting. Turn that down a little bit. What's going to be really distracting is when I have a cigarette here in a few minutes. That's going to be loud too. But after the hurricane thing, I was just like, you know what? Nothing has felt right about doing this the way that I want to do it, so I'm just going to cancel. And I canceled. Last minute, canceled everything. All my bookings. I didn't cancel the car because I was still going to do something. I just had to figure out what it was. And what I ended up coming up with was I was going to get up Saturday and pick up the car, and then I was going to drive to Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville was not really the going to I'm a big Tennessee fan. I love going to Knoxville. There was no game or anything going on, so really not. There really wasn't a whole lot of reason. Oh shit! You know what? I just realized something. I just realized that the. Let's see. Can we do that? Is that better? Or is that worse? Is it somehow worse? I think it's somehow worse. Yeah, it's somehow worse. Well, is that a whole lot better? Move it over a little bit more and see if that does anything. It's not great. It's okay. The unfortunate thing is the microphone was pointing away from me. So, you probably didn't hear a whole lot of what I was saying, but I'm going to keep going here. I need to get one of those little thingies. I have one. I don't know if it works. That's why I'm not using it. I neglected to test it before I left. So anyway, my idea was I was going to go to Knoxville. Knoxville wasn't the important part of the destination. It was just a destination. So I was going to drive to Knoxville, but what I was planning on doing was driving the Blue Ridge Parkway between Asheville, North Carolina, and Cherokee, North Carolina. That was what I was going to do. Move that around a little bit. That totally sucks. Yeah, that does totally suck. Why don't we do this? Why don't we just do that? Is that any better? No, that is not any better. That is somehow worse than it was before. Okay. Let me let this car pass, and I'll change it one last time. Yeah, we're just gonna deal with the bad angle. That's fine. So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Sorry about that. So yeah, I got stuck. It was one of the worst wrecks in the history of Charlotte. It happened yesterday. Happened on my route. It happened on I-85 South, near Gastonia, North Carolina. If you feel like a tinge or a pain when you say the word Gastonia, that's okay. We do too. It's the shittiest part of North Carolina by a fucking huge margin. That place sucks. If you're looking for meth, it's like the best place on earth, but otherwise it fucking blows. Oh man, more Creedence. Creedence Clearwater Revival. Good shit. Oh man, excuse me. Oh, fuck me dead. So, you know, I got stuck, and they had to shut the highway down for like 6 hours, so I had to actually, I was stuck there for 2 hours, burning daylight, because driving the Blue Ridge Parkway at night would be scary as shit, but during the day it would be fucking gorgeous. So, yeah, I skipped that, and I just drove straight to Knoxville. I do feel a little upset. I feel like I got gypped a little bit on that part of the trip, but how could you have predicted a, 8-car pileup, including a 9-car pileup that included a semi-trailer? It's just kind of difficult to predict something like that. All right. Yeah, you just can't predict something like that. So, really unfortunate situation that was. Thankfully, though, I read today nobody was hurt. There were injuries, but nobody was killed. So that was good. That was really good. There was an 8-month-old child that was ejected out of a car while wearing in a child safety seat. So that was a pretty bad wreck. So I got stuck there for 2 hours, and by the time I got out and could move and could divert around it, by the time I could divert around it, it was too late in the day for me to attempt to drive the Blue Ridge Parkway. So I just canned the idea and went straight to Knoxville. And I had a good time, though. I mean, the hotel was nice, and Knoxville is very pleasant when it's not raining its fucking dick off over there. And honestly, the drive-through, as much as I've been complaining about the weather, it's honestly very pretty driving through Tennessee when it's raining and there's low clouds. It's very pretty, even if it is a little bleh during the day. I'm gonna stream for as long as I fucking want. If nobody watches, that's fine. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna talk to myself, but I'm streaming, so I'm not crazy. But the whole reason I was doing this trip, my wife and I split up a while ago. May. My wife and I split up back in May. Oh, shit. You know what that means? I should smoke a cigarette. I should take a drink and then smoke a cigarette. Whenever I talk about my wife, not whenever. I was telling my friend the other night, I don't hate my ex-wife. I don't. I understand why she wanted to leave. And I didn't understand when she told me that she wanted to leave. But now that we're away from everything, I understand why she wanted to leave. And I'm glad that we're separated, because it just wasn't working, and I wasn't happy, and she wasn't happy. And ultimately, it was for the better. That doesn't mean that I'm not resentful of my wife, my ex-wife. That doesn't mean that I'm not resentful. That doesn't mean that I don't, hold ill feelings towards her. I just don't hate her, I don't want to be her friend, and that's the sad part. We've been friends since 2002. We met on fucking LiveJournal of all the goddamn places. Met on LiveJournal, and we've known each other for a really, really long time. With some breaks in between, like, nobody stays in touch a long distance like that all the time. I mean, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but we would sporadically keep back in touch. And back in, I think it was about 2009 or 10, we had reconnected after, I'd say 5 or so years. Sorry, I'm cracking my neck. I know that might have looked a little odd. I was just rolling my neck because driving in the rain is stressful. Hence the cigarette. Speaking of which, I'm gonna make that shit happen right now. Smoking in a rental car like a badass. Running his YouTube channel from his rental car like a dipshit. It's fucking warm out there, by the way. Like, you would think it would be cold. It's fucking not. It's warm. It's really surprising. Like, it's really surprising how warm it is. I suppose it shouldn't be so surprising. This is a tropical depression. There's plenty of fog all around, and I'm hoping it's supposed to clear up after I get past Nashville. Which I don't have my GPS up in front of me, but I think I'm about I'm gonna guess about 40 to 50 miles south, somewhere in there. Anyway, this is fucking loud. I'm sure you can't hear shit, but I don't give a fuck. This is my channel, my stream. I get to do what I want, and what I want to do is smoke a goddamn cigarette and talk bullshit. Don't talk shit. Talking shit, Morty. They're talking shit, Morty. But I started doing this trip. I could use 2 to 3 rendezvous powder. I bet you could, old man. I bet you could. That's my dad. My dad just sent me a text message saying he wanted some rendezvous dry rub powder from the Rendezvous in Memphis. If you're unfamiliar with the Rendezvous, it is a world famous rib joint in Memphis, and it's across the street from the Peabody, where I'll be staying. Which sounds awesome, right? Sounds fucking great. You know what 2 days of the week they're closed? Sunday and Monday. So fuck me to death. I'll text him in a little bit and let him know that that's not going to be a possibility. So, is there another text? I think there's something. Anyway, the thing about relationships, and I've talked with my therapist about this at length. It takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of sacrifice to make it work. And neither one of us were really doing that. I think I would like to say that I was, and the reason for that is, and I don't really want to go into a whole lot of detail. I'll try to put it as mildly as I can. This is on her, because this was not an issue that I had. She has intimacy issues. And I'm not just talking about in the bedroom, I mean all around. She had intimacy issues. And it fucked me really bad in the way, in so much that I wasn't getting laid. And I wasn't getting a whole lot of, like, that intimate satisfaction you would expect from, you know, being with a fiance, someone you're in a long-term relationship. What was I saying? Oh, right. You know, and that was something that she needed to get help for, and she never did. And I do hope at some point that she does get help for it. I'm not so angry with my wife that I don't want her to be happy, or my ex-wife. I don't know why I keep calling her my wife. Well, we're still married, but we're married until the state of North Carolina says we don't have to be anymore. I want her to be happy at some point in her life, you know, because I did care about her, and I still do. I might resent her for, you know, not wanting to try to fix our relationship, and I might resent her for not wanting to fix our, you know, wanting to try to fix our relationship, or you know, what to me feels like a waste of 5 years of my time. Because, you know, at 33, I'd like to have a family. I would have liked to have been married and had a family, and you know, that sort of thing, but that's just not how it worked out. And life doesn't always go the way that you plan it, or that you'd like it to go, and that's okay. That's not a bad thing. That doesn't mean that you failed. That doesn't mean that, you know, that something is wrong. It's just the way life is. And, you know, talking to my therapist about it was really good. And he was actually supposed to be, he was the person that I found to, he was the person to be our couples counseling. This is what he does. He does relationship and couples counseling. He did, you know, relationship and couples counseling, and I just decided that I was going to keep going, even though that she didn't want to, and it was immensely helpful. I went and talked to him on Wednesday before I left for this trip. He's been really useful. He's been really helpful, and the reason, actually, one of the main reasons why I'm doing this trip is because of something that he said, you know, in one of our I think it was one of the first 2 or 3 sessions that we did. It's getting loud out there. He said, you know, just because your marriage is over doesn't mean that your life is over. Or just because you're getting a divorce doesn't mean your life is over. And that was something that, like, I really needed to hear at that time. And there's been a lot of little things that have, that happened that have pushed me in this direction, and I honestly couldn't be happier about it. One of the biggest things, for the folks who may be watching, nobody's watching, I'm just talking to myself apparently. No, I'm going to post this on my channel, so sorry, I'm trying to get Ash out of here. I don't want to pay a cleaning fee. I have to freeze the shit out of this thing when I'm done. Yeah, not my car, by the way. My car's nice, but it's not this nice. Anyway, now that I'm done with that, that's good. Okay. There have been a lot of little things that have kind of pushed me in this direction. I need to have it that. And the first thing that really kind of gave me a nudge here was a video for the folks from Discord that may be watching, or people that may watch in the future. who don't know who this person is, you need to look up Jeff Holiday, and you need to subscribe and become a patron. He does really good work. He does, his videos are very good. He's a funny guy. I had the opportunity to meet him when he came to Atlanta a couple months back, and really gracious person. But he put a video out. Ghost Riders in the Sky. Not really a big fan of that song. He had put out a video back in May, early May, first or second week of May. It would have been like the second week of May, called Depression and Mental Illness, I believe is what it was. And he was very candid, talked a lot about his own experiences and people that he's known, and this, just, it's a really good video. I highly recommend it. But there was something he said during that video that really spoke to me. And he was talking, he's being kind of, he was asking a rhetorical question. Is happiness worth what you have to go through to get there? And of course, he says, that the answer is yes. That happiness is worth the pursuit. And that was something that I really needed to hear, because at the time I was really depressed. I was really, really depressed. And my relationship with my wife wasn't working, and it hadn't been for a long time, and I was just depressed. I was miserable, and it was just something that I really needed to hear. And it inspired me and helped me gather the courage to confront my wife about the problems we'd had in our marriage and our relationship. And it was one of the most painful experiences in my life when she said that she wasn't in love with me anymore, and that she wanted to leave. That was a really painful thing. I honestly, I've experienced physical pain that was really intense, but I've never experienced pain physically or emotionally that was just, man, because that was the person that I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with, that was going to be my partner and was going to be my soulmate and was going to be my wife, for the next 40 plus years. And here she is telling me that she didn't want to be with me anymore, that she wanted to leave, that she wasn't happy. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, I just want to go to counseling. I want to go to counseling, and I want to fix this. And that was not something that she wanted to do. And now that I'm several months removed from it, I think it's been about 5 or 6 months now, I can see very clearly that what happened needed to happen. Would I have liked to have saved my marriage? Sure, if there was a possibility, of course. But since that wasn't a possibility, I'm glad that we got out of it when we did. Excuse me, I'm getting a drink and I'm finding a place to put my other drink. Wow, that guy is trying to cause a wreck by being an idiot. Rain is starting to clear up a lot, and I'm seeing some breaks in the clouds, so I think we're pretty close to Nashville now, because that's right where the rain kind of stops. Anyway, so, you know, that happened, and I'm here now, and I can tell you without any reservations whatsoever that I am a lot happier right now than I was this time last year. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. This time last year, we were getting married the next day. So, it's a little unfair. Because I would have been overjoyed, and I was very happy on my wedding day, but I think that was the last time the two of us were really happy, and it was briefly, but last summer, for sure, June, July last year, I was in a really deep, dark place, but like I said, Jeff Holliday's video, just something that simple, like, hey man, the pursuit of happiness is worth it. And he may have been talking about something completely different contextually, but I took it to mean, like, if you want to be happy, you've got to make that for yourself, and you've got to figure out what it is that makes you happy. And if you can identify something that doesn't make you happy, you can do something about that. And what wasn't making me happy was my relationship with my wife. And because of that video, I confronted her about it a lot sooner than I probably would have otherwise. And it gave me a lot of hope for the future. If I can take for just a moment, because this is just kind of my own stream and nobody's watching and nobody probably ever see this, but if on the off chance that Jeff Holiday ever sees this, man, he's gonna have to trudge through a lot of bullshit to get to it in 47 minutes. But Jeff, if you ever see this, I want you to know, and I've told you this before, I've told you this in person, and in other live streams, but you are a genuinely good person. A genuinely good person. And I honestly it's why I'm a patron. I have absolutely no qualms about supporting you making these videos, because you're one of the most genuine people that I've ever met, and you just have this way of talking to people that makes them feel like it's difficult to describe, and I'm sure other people have told you this before, but you just have this way of talking to the camera or to whomever, where it feels like you're talking to them, and I really appreciate that, and I couldn't be happier to be supporting something like that. So just by doing what you love to do every day and making these videos and talking to people like they're human beings, you inspire them. You've inspired me. I'm on my way to Memphis to enjoy myself and celebrate my life. This, my wedding anniversary is supposed to be tomorrow, and you know what? what I'm doing right now is enjoying my great American road trip. I'm on my way to Memphis, Tennessee right now. I'll be there in about 3 hours, 3.5 hours, somewhere around there. And I'm going to be staying at one of the nicest hotels in the nation. I'm going to go have some really good food. And it's a celebration. This whole trip is a celebration of a new chapter in my life. That's what this trip is all about. It's about celebrating a new chapter in my life. And creating experiences that will live in me forever. And I honestly can't think of anything better than that. And you guys are going to have to excuse me. I'm a bit of an emotional person. But, you know, when my wife told me that she wanted to leave, and I never thought that I'd be happy again. I never thought that I'd find something that makes me happy. And what I've found in the 6 months or 5 months since then is that I can make myself happy. I'm the reason that I'm happy. And I'm really thankful for that. Because there's a lot of people that don't ever get there. But there you go. That's that. That's the emotional part of the stream. Fuck all of that shit. No, seriously, don't fuck that shit. We're gonna move on and talk about some other stuff. You know what? I suppose this would be an opportune time to talk about gun control. Considering what happened in Vegas, you never, like, who opens a conversation like that, you know, it's a really good time for it. It's a really good time to talk about gun control. There's really never a good time to talk about gun control, but I'm going to do it anyway because, well, I feel like I've been passed by this guy like 4 times already. Yummy. Love Dr. Pepper. I'm going to enjoy these regular sodas while I can. When I get back, my fat ass is going on a fucking diet when I get home. Moved into my apartment. That's the other thing. Not only am I doing this awesome fucking road trip, where I'm going to Memphis, Tennessee. I'm going to be staying at a really nice hotel, and then I'm going to Houston, and I'm going to spend some time with some family. And then I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to drive to New Orleans and pray that... I'm going to turn around and go to New Orleans and pray that the French Quarter's okay, and I can go and have a little fun. Can I just real quick? Do you know those people that like get right up on your ass? Like, I'm not in the right lane. I'm in the middle lane, cruising, which is what you're supposed to do. And I don't know if people know this or not, but that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to sit in the middle lane to cruise, and you use the left lane to pass, and you use the right lane. If it's 3 lanes, left lane to pass, middle lane to cruise, right lane to get off the highway. Or if for some reason you can't keep pace with the middle lane. I absolutely fucking hate it when somebody is in the middle lane and they get right up on your ass. I mean, like, mere feet away from your bumper, and then dart over into the left lane and floor it. I fucking hate those people. Just, you know that I'm here, and you know that you're going faster than me. Why wouldn't you just, 20 yards before you reach me, just get over in the next lane when it's free? Anyway, so rant over. I'm going to go to New Orleans, and I'm going to have a good time, and from there I have a little bit of a decision to make. I can either go home on Wednesday, because I was supposed to spend 3 days in Vegas, and it was going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then fly home Saturday, or I can excuse me, or I can extend my road trip because I have the car, the rental car I have for until Thursday if I want it. But I'm probably going to be home on Wednesday. I can extend my road trip for an extra day and drive somewhere else. Now, what I was thinking about doing was driving back to, doubling back around and driving up to like Chattanooga from New Orleans. And then from Chattanooga, I would go up and meet it would have to be a couple hours. But a couple hours to the Blue Ridge Parkway, and then take the Blue Ridge Parkway from Cherokee back down to Asheville, and then Asheville to home. I was thinking about doing that. I'm not sure that that's something that I want to do. It's really going to depend. Like, I'm fine to drive. Like, driving doesn't bother me. I'm pretty okay with it. May have to end the stream here fairly soon because I'm getting into Nashville now, and their roads are. Actually, I probably won't have to stop the stream. To the map. Yep, I sure can. So you guys can see where the fuck I'm headed. But I should be getting into Memphis, or Nashville currently. Memphis, ETA, 8 p.m. Range to Memphis, 219 miles. Range in car, 313. I bet I can stretch that if I turned on Econ. But I'm probably not going to do that because I just don't give a fuck. I might stay in New Orleans a second night. I haven't decided. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. We'll figure that out after I leave Houston. Houston's going to be a mess. And my dad, I have a bunch of family in Houston. I have a bunch of family in Memphis too. I'm from Memphis. Memphis is my hometown. I was born there. My dad wants me to go see my great aunt Peggy, and because my great uncle Mark passed away a while ago. I doubt. I'm actually kind of surprised Peggy's still alive. They were both pretty old. They were old when I was young. Well, when I was younger, I should say. Well, the sky looks cool. Now that it's not fucking raining anymore. Excuse me. So, I'll have a decision to make at that point. But, so right now, let's see, where are we at? Where am I at? Nazarene University. I've got to be right there. I've got to be like right there. Yeah, I've got to be like right. Yeah, I'm in Nashville, definitely. Yeah. Stay right. I hate how these things split. Yeah, that sounds about right. You guys can kind of get an idea, you know, where I'm headed. Like I said, about 3 hours out. So, not too bad. Did that pause? Did my video pause? My video may have paused. Ooh, that's a big fucking semi. Holy dog shit. I'm gonna turn the video off for now. Yeah, I'm gonna turn the video off for now. Looks like it's not working at the moment. That was a big fucking semi that just merged right next to me. Boy, that was pants shittingly close. Oh God, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry again. So, yeah, as you can see, if you're looking at the map here, if you can see it, passing through Nashville right now. Hey, there's the Batman building. It's really the AT&T building, but I call it the Batman building because it's got the little ears on it. It looks like Batman's cowl. That's really what it is. So anyway, I figure heavy traffic driving through a major city is a great time to bring up gun control again, because I do want to talk about like some serious stuff on this stream while I'm driving along. So I'm going to talk about gun control. I am a gun owner. I own a handgun and a shotgun. Wow. Camaro's really booking it. I own a handgun, and sorry, I gotta readjust my phone here once more. Bitch, don't tell me what to do. I mean, do tell me what to do, but shut up about it. Hey, what did I just say? So, obviously everybody's talking about gun control since Las Vegas. And, I'm a gun owner. I'm also liberal. I don't think that guns should be, like, owning guns should be an absolute right for everybody. I do think that gun ownership, wow, this part of town is run the fuck down. Wow, this part of Nashville looks like a wasteland. Holy shit. Or like way south of the city center. I can see downtown Nashville from here, but holy shit. This area, that's a little bit better now. I'm going half a mile up the road now. Back there, though, fuck, man, there's graffiti everywhere and shit was overgrown. This just looks like an industrial area now. Keep right. Keep right. 40 west for 2 miles. No problem. Then I'll be forking left. Alright. This whole gun control thing really isn't going very well right now, is it? I'll just go ahead and put it out there the way that how I think about it. They're supposed to be... I'm sorry, I'm just like looking at this one lane that is wide enough for like 3 cars side by side. There's like no markings on the road. That's unsettling. Gun control. That's what I was going to talk about. No, I don't think the government should be taking anybody's guns away. I do think that there need to be... I don't think gun control laws are going to change anything, but here's what I do think is going to change something. Because there is a common thread amongst all of the mass shootings that you can think of in the last... ever? I mean, you can go as far back as Austin, Texas. That's like obnoxiously loud. Okay, that's better. It's just really loud for some reason. So, I mean, even if you go as far back as the Bell Tower in Austin, Texas, every one of these mass shootings has a common thread, and that common thread is mental illness. And not even necessarily mental illness. I don't think the mentally ill are I don't think that most mentally ill people are prone to, homicidal tendencies? No. I don't think that they would be prone to homicidal acts like that. What is required to kill human beings like that is to have a kind of break from reality, a psychotic break, if you will. This is probably not a good idea to be sitting here talking about this while I should be concentrating on the road in Nashville. But I'm going to keep going, because it seems to be pretty tame at the moment. There's just a lot of twists and turns. That's why I brought the map back up. That's what you're seeing. That's why. So, just turn that down even more. That you have to have a psychotic break, or some sort of break from reality, some sort of disassociation, to do something like that. It's a requirement to do something like that. And because of that, I think what people should be doing, what we should do, is we should be having psychological evaluations done for gun owners. And you may say, well, okay, that's a lot of fucking people that you'd have to put psych evals on. Like, yeah, but it's like, yes, but it would certainly, I think, help catch something that, because I mean, if you fail your psychological evaluation, you don't get to have guns anymore. Like, you have to surrender your guns, not necessarily to the government, but to like someone who you would basically have to relinquish custody of your guns. You still own the guns, you just don't get to have them. You get what I'm saying? Like, you could still sell them and make money off of them, but you don't get to use them or have them anymore. In other words, you would be assigning the guns to a custodian, and you could probably, I would say you could even choose the custodian. They would have to pass a psych evaluation, and if they do, they then become the custodian of the guns. Now, they are the custodian. They don't get to use the guns. They are not the owners of the guns. If they wanted to do something with the guns, they would have to ask your permission. Like, if you wanted to go shoot their guns, you would have to ask them, is that okay, before they could go do it. You know what I mean? I don't... It sounds really complicated, and it probably is, which is probably why it actually makes it more likely for them to do it. But I do think, at the absolute least, you should have to submit to a psychological evaluation once a year in order to continue to have a license to own a gun. I think that should be what we do, because, Americans don't treat mental illness and that sort of those sorts of things with the kind of seriousness that they really should. Certainly not like they do in other countries where, mental health services are readily available and provided by the government. And I'm not saying they necessarily need to be provided by the government, but I think there needs to be more of an emphasis on getting mental health checks. Because I can tell you right now, like, there's such a stigma attached to seeing a therapist or seeing a psychiatrist. When I was a kid, I saw a psychiatrist. It was because I was fucking hyper. And you know what he told my parents? Your child's hyper because he has ADD. Well, I wasn't hyper. I didn't have ADHD. I just had ADD. Run-of-the-mill ADD as a kid. They put me on Ritalin. Thankfully, when you get older, if you had ADD as a child and you get older, usually you mellow out and you're able to concentrate on stuff a little bit more easily. But I see a therapist. I have no shame that I see a therapist. I feel so much better as a person, and I feel like it's weird. It like refreshes my psyche when I go see a therapist, when I go see my therapist. Because when I walk out of there, like, I've had an opportunity to talk about the stuff that's been bothering me. I've had an opportunity to vent some of the things that I'm angry about. And he does a really good job of challenging me and, challenging me to explore why I feel a certain way and showing me, like, well, have you ever considered this? You know what I mean? And he's been immensely, like I said before, he's been immensely helpful in my marriage, or not my marriage, but my separation from my marriage. He's been immensely helpful in that regard, because he helped me put a lot of stuff in perspective, and he helped me compartmentalize a lot of what I was feeling. And I think that's a really good thing. Like, it's a really fucking good thing that these people exist, and you can go, anybody can go. It's $80 a session. It's not cheap, but once a month, $80 once a month, you get to go and bitch. You get to go and bitch and moan to somebody who is there to, basically help you analyze and process those emotions instead of you sitting on them. I sat on a lot of bullshit for over a year with my relationship, and I'm untangling that mess right now, and it feels really fucking good to do that. So imagine if being able to go to a therapist was something that was encouraged, and people wouldn't feel like it's a stigma, like you're crazy or something. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's a really big difference between seeing a therapist and seeing a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist treats mental illness. A therapist helps you deal with your emotions. It's a big difference. I mean, it's a really big difference. But I think if people looked at it more like that, and there were therapists that were available, and we could start that kind of initiative, I think you'd see a lot of people would be happier. I really do. And you don't need medication for it. You don't need Xanax. You don't need any of that other horse shit. You can make yourself happy. You just have to go and sometimes it's okay to ask for help. That's the thing. My ex-wife hated to ask for help. She never wanted to ask for help. It's one of the main reasons why she didn't want to live with me, and she didn't want to be with me anymore, is because she would never ask for help. She would never ask me to do anything, even if she wanted me to do it. She'd get mad. And look, I'm a messy person. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like if you could see the inside of my car right now, if I could show you more of the interior of the car, you would know. But I'm not a very clean person. I'm not a very organized person. Well, that comes and goes. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. Depends on what we're talking about specifically. If we're talking about, like, my clothes, not organized at all. If we're talking about, like, my computer and electronic equipment, very organized. Same way at work. Like, I have to be organized at work, otherwise I'll never get any work done. But if we're talking about my clothes, or we're talking about the kitchen, there's no rhyme or reason to anything that I'm doing. That's just what I'm doing. But she got, like, so mad at me because I wouldn't, take out the trash or clean up, just, like, throw away, like, Coke cans and shit. Little stuff. And I understand that little stuff eventually adds up to big stuff, and I don't disagree with that. But at some point, like, if you want me to vacuum the rug, just ask me to vacuum the rug. I'll never, that was the thing, and I tried to explain to her. It's like, I'll never tell you no. It's like, I'll never say no. I'll never be like, I'm not fucking doing that. No, of course, I'd be happy to take the trash out or mow the lawn or whatever the case, whatever it is. But she just didn't want to have to do that. Which, I mean, I would say that is ridiculous, to throw away a relationship that you've been in for 5 years because you don't like to ask them to pick up their cans. That's kind of a fucking stupid thing to do. And I'm not trying to sit around here and shit on my ex-wife by any means. I was just using it as an example. But she never, and like I said, she never asked for help. So because she never asked for help, things got out of control, and we had a problem. And granted, just as a caveat to that, it wasn't like it was her. It sounds like I'm blaming her for our marriage splitting. It wasn't all. It takes two to tango. There's a lot that I could have done prior to our separation that could have helped, that I chose not to do, or that I intentionally didn't do. So we're both at fault for why that relationship failed. You know, hindsight being 20/20 and everything. But she's not the kind of person that's going to go and ask for help. She doesn't. I don't think that she has any interest in going to see a therapist. And I think there's plenty of other people out there like that. And I think the kind of people, and I think if there just wasn't such a stigma attached to it, I think more people would go and do it. And if they went and did it, I think they'd find that their quality of life would increase, because mine certainly has. And I think you would probably see a society where we have less gun violence than we do now. At least, I think less mass shootings, for sure. Because you never know. Some of these people, like Dylan Klebold and, I can't remember the other guy's name, from Columbine, do you know, how much, do you know how many, I feel like if those two actually had the opportunity to sit down with a therapist and really talk about that, those emotions that drove them to do that, I think if they had an opportunity to talk to somebody about it that would have understood and would have helped them see things in a different way, I think, I'm not going to sit here and say that it would have prevented it, but I'm a big believer in when you talk about something, you give yourself an opportunity to address it and fix it, if it's possible to be fixed. And sometimes it can't be fixed. But I think that would be a really good way to go about it. I think if we made therapy more accessible to people and eliminated or reduced the stigma that's attached to going to therapy, I think a lot of people would be happier. And if you're in a place where you're not very happy and you can afford to do so, or shop around, I mean, hell, sometimes even your insurance will cover it if you have health insurance. And that's the other thing. Health insurance should include therapy. I don't know why it doesn't. I don't know why your health insurance doesn't include your mental health. And you would think with insurance companies, you have an opportunity to, help. You have an opportunity to save yourself some money by, excuse me. You have an opportunity to save yourself some money, in payouts and shit by, dealing with mental illness and mental health. How many people would you think who have a mental illness or have mental health problems commit suicide or assault other people or hurt themselves in some form or fashion, whether it's from stress and smoking too much or deliberately maiming themselves, any number of things. It's probably not a lot of money, admittedly, but I bet it would be enough to give most insurance companies pause and to consider that as a potential option that they should provide. But is. And that's kind of how I thought that gun control topic was going to go. I would get off on a tangent about mental health, which ended up including my wife, or my ex-wife. I'm sorry, I keep saying that. It's not even like I refer to her as my wife all the time anyway. I usually refer to her as my ex. But because I'm not like talking to my friends, I'm not talking to anybody at the moment, but I'm talking as though I'm talking during this stream as though someone in the future may watch this. It's an hour and 20 minutes of bullshit, but and it may end up being more than that by the time I'm done. Oh man. Oh, excuse me. You know what the worst part about doing this drive right now is? It's not just that it's raining. It is the constant like windiness, because I don't know if people realize this about Tennessee, but it's really, really hilly. It's not just the Appalachia. There are hills and mountains strewn about the landscape. I am like 200 miles from Knoxville, Tennessee, which is basically in a valley, or near enough. Yeah, Knoxville, Tennessee is essentially in a valley on the other side of on the western side of the Appalachia. The Appalachian. Fuck was that? And I'm still passing like mountains and rock crags where they've like blown out part of a very small, like 500-foot tall mountain. They've just like dynamite, and you can see where they've like blasted through. Of course, that would have been like 50 years ago, or whenever it was that they built the this is Rock Around the Clock. I heard that song 4 times in a row on Pandora. They played like 3 different versions from 3 different artists, and then a live version from the original. And I was just like, all right, that's enough of that shit. Algorithm has failed. Oh man, it's been a long day. 2 hours 14 minutes. 8 o'clock is when I'm gonna get into Memphis. Pretty fucking stoked, my Negro. Gonna be a good time. Gonna go. Like I said, the rendezvous is not open, so I'm not going to go get my ribs. I'm not really all that disappointed about it. I've eaten there several times, so I'm not real worried. I could go to Interstate Barbecue, but it's a little farther outside of town, and I just don't care. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an Uber to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse somewhere in Memphis. I know there's one. There has to be. There's one in Knoxville. I guarantee you there's one in Memphis. I like Ruth's Chris. I'm gonna go to Ruth's Chris, and I'm gonna have a fucking steak and a lobster tail. That's my plan for tonight. I'm sure people are just like, oh, you're staying at the swanky hotel and you're going to a steakhouse. This dude must make a shitload of money. I make pretty good money for being on my own. I make pretty good goddamn money. I am not wealthy by any means. I wouldn't even say I'm rich. But this trip was a fucking necessity, and I have made it a point to do fun stuff. Gonna be staying in New Orleans. I'm gonna go eat at some of the best restaurants in the French Quarter if I can. If I can get my foot in the fucking door, that's what I'm gonna do. It should be a really, really good time. Oh man, my leg just popped real real bad. Now, I should stop here pretty soon. Just take a 10-minute break. It's probably not an altogether terrible idea. So I'll think about doing that. I'm kind of, not to say that I'm bored of streaming here, but since nobody's watching and I don't really feel like talking about anything else, I think I'm just going to end the stream so I can go watch or listen to some football, and that'll be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. Nobody watched. That's okay. Nobody knows who the fuck I am, and that's cool. But expect when I get back home and I finally get moved into my apartment and everything settles down, I'm actually going to start putting out content on my YouTube channel. And I think I have an idea of what I'm going to talk about. I think I'm going to talk about mental health. Probably go over a lot of the same stuff I was talking about earlier, but I think actually want to script it out and put it into a video, and that'll probably be one of my first videos. I'm going to have to learn how to edit on the fly. That'll be fun. Can't really think of anything else. Nope, can't think of anything. Too retarded. Yawn. Crack. Snapple. Whatever. And on that dubious note, I'm going to end this stream. This is Standard Procedure signing off.